everybody, it's New Year's Eve. Happy New Year. I'm just going to do a really fast check-in because we are planning like a movie marathon. So, Great Hunt has been finished. I finished the audiobook today, so that bookmark is not accurate anymore. It's done, see? And yeah, it's great. It's a great hunt. Yeah. I really like a lot of the characters that were introduced in this. That's what I love from a big epic fantasy, is to have like huge branching perspectives. Rand grew on me a little bit, but I think it's more because there was a period at the beginning of this book where nobody really liked Rand. Part of my reason why I hated Rand so much is that anytime it was his part of the story, it was just him whining about how his friends didn't like him anymore. And that was not the greatest beginning to this. I really want this to be a group of people who have genuine affection for each other, because I love that in an epic fantasy. I don't want a party who's constantly at odds. I want a party that really cares and will lay down their lives for one another. That's what I want. But yeah, I'm really excited to read more of this. And just continue to deep dive into this world. It's getting more and more to where I can't really talk about these without major spoilers. So you're basically just gonna hear me say, hey, these are good, or hey, I'm not as crazy about this book as I was about this book, or stuff like that. I hear it kind of slogs in the middle, and then I hear like the finale when Brandon Sanderson kind of comes in and like puts all the pieces together. I hear it's mind-blowing, and I can't wait to get to that point and see how all of these different threads tie together, because I've heard again and again they totally do. But other than that, I'm just gonna get prepared to ring in 2019. I'm gonna go make some jalapeno poppers, and we're gonna probably watch Black Panther, because I still haven't seen that one, and that's a little ridiculous to me. I haven't done like a movie marathon in a long time, so I'm excited for that. And yeah. Happy New Year!
Oh, my fan's on. It's fine. Good morning, everybody. It is January 1st, 2019, and we made it! Yeah, I had intended on filming a couple more things last night. Not that it was, like, an amazing party or anything. It was just me and a couple other people, basically sitting around drinking wine and then watching movies afterwards. But, yeah. We drank a lot of wine. We ate a lot of poppers. I had intended on like having the finished product to show you, but we ate them too fast and I forgot because we were already a bottle in at that point. And we watched Black Panther, which I thought was really good. And we watched Ant-Man and the Wasp, which I thought was okay. And now I think I'm all caught up in the Marvel Universe, cinematic universe. I'm not even remotely caught up in the comics. I have no idea what's going on over there. So it is 9:30 now on the first day of my 30 in 30. And I'm thinking about what books I want to read, and I don't know what I want to read. Every now and again I get the bright idea to film before I've had coffee. And then I remember that that's a terrible idea. Oh, that was an attractive face. I apologize for that. I can hear Toothless outside my door right now. He's mewing. He's very upset because I am in here talking. He hears me, and I have not yet greeted him. Let's go get him. Well, hi, buddy. Hi. What's up? Did you have a good New Year? Yeah? Aren't you so glad you came to me? Wasn't this a brilliant plan? Okay. Well, I'm gonna go get myself some breakfast and some coffee and be a productive human in 2019. Actually, no, I'm just gonna sit here and play with my cat. Oof. Oof. Oof.
So, first book done. I read The Pluto Files by Neil deGrasse Tyson, and this is just his recounting of the events surrounding the demotion of Pluto to dwarf planet. And yeah, it is pretty thorough. I mean, it goes through a lot of the scientific information for the reasons, but then it also talks about like the emotional attachments and the history and the people who were involved in Pluto's discovery and the fight to keep Pluto a planet and all of these different things. And it has a lot of like actual letters and stuff. Let me see if I can find some of them. So like here we have a couple of letters from elementary aged children who were very upset that Pluto was no longer a planet. But he said that at one point he was getting like 200 plus emails a day regarding this event. I got book one done, so I only have 29 more to read. I'm going to pick up Lord of the Flies, and I have not read this, but it's another short one that I've been meaning to get to, so I figured this would be a nice way to get kind of a classic in there. Okay, I'm back, and read the first chapter of Lord of the Flies. For those of you who don't know, this is about a bunch of like school-aged boys who get marooned on an island, and then they kind of have to build a society. Read the first chapter, and already I can see a lot of ways in which this is not going to end well for these boys. Also, I'm not sure how interested you are on this, and I'm not going to really update you guys on this weekly, but another project that I'm doing in 2019 is I am going to read through the entire Bible. I just kind of wanted to let you know that that's something I'm doing. I might check in occasionally on this and just see how I'm doing, but I did my reading for the day. I even like highlighted stuff and took a little bit of notes. Like here in the very first chapter of Genesis, the second verse says, "The earth was without void and form, and darkness was over the face of the deep." And then I wrote to the side of that, "So metal." So speaking of projects, I am going to set up my bullet journal for the year. This is a homemade bullet journal that my sister did. So it's got 3 notebooks in here, and I think I'm gonna do like one that's like scheduling, one that's to-dos, and one that's record keeping, like finances and things like that. So I'm gonna set that up, and while I'm setting that up, I'm going to start listening to the audiobook for The 1000th Floor. And I'm kind of nervous about this one. When I first learned about this book, I had the understanding that it was a science fiction novel where everybody lived, like all of the surviving residents of Earth lived in a single skyscraper. And I thought that was interesting. I'm not entirely sure if that's really the premise, but I know that people live in a skyscraper, and based on where you rank on the height in that skyscraper is kind of like how prestigious of a person you are. But then the more I learned about it, the more people were comparing it to shows like Gossip Girls and saying that it's actually kind of cutthroat and trashy and all of those things that I'm not super into. We'll see. I'm gonna start it because the science fiction aspects of it seem interesting to me. But if it's basically like Gossip Girls in a futuristic setting, I'm not sure if it's going to rank among my faves. But yeah, we'll start that one while I'm working on my bullet journal. Again. I had a pretty major boo-boo very early on that you can probably witness me covering up, but I tried to use this marker for my monthly calendar, and then realized it bled through pretty bad, so I had to like glue some pages together and then put some washi tape over to kind of cover up that disaster. Another thing, I feel like this happens to me every January 1st, but another project that I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to keep up with a reading journal this year. I bought this a while ago and I just rediscovered it when I was organizing some stuff, and yeah, it's pretty cool. Like every page has just kind of a breakdown of all the information about the book, author, date published, category, and then when you started and finished the book, and then it has places where you can leave notes and a rating. So I did the Pluto files there, and periodically throughout, they have like these extra fun bonus pages. Also, the 1000th Floor, not that great. Very Gossip Girl. Very Gossip Girl. But you know, I'll listen to it at work. It'll be nice background noise. It is a little sci-fi-y. I think that's the correct term. Though there is like a fair amount of world building, and I've only listened to probably about an hour's worth of it, and I think it's established some pretty cool things for the world. So I'm hopeful, cautiously hopeful. Hey everybody, it is Wednesday, January 2nd, and I am kind of at the halfway mark on both of the books I'm currently in the middle of. I'm halfway through Lord of the Flies. I am so just infatuated with everything that's going on in this book. It's so mesmerizing how many levels this book works on. It's just a beautiful regression back into savagery. I can't wait to finish this one. I am like, I want to take my time with it, and I want to speed through it all at once. So this is good. I really like it. Now I want to follow it up with The 1000th Floor, which, like I said, originally had it in my head that this was a completely different book than it turned out to be. But I'm still kind of okay with this book too. More okay than I thought I would be. It is definitely just like a trashy teen drama. But the fact that I made my peace with that and went into it knowing that, I actually kind of like it. It's got all of the things you expect from a teen drama. It's a lot of dysfunctional families and teen angst and love octagons. I mean, literally everybody is crushing on everybody else. But it's all those things, and also androids and genetically engineered people and ear tinnas, which I literally burst out laughing at work today when it like dawned on me that that's what they call their like earpieces, is ear tinnas. It's just great. It's quality trashy teen drama here, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm enjoying it quite a bit. Hey everybody, it is January 3rd. We've made it 3 whole days into 2019. Today at work, I finished a book. I finished this book, 1000th Floor, and this is by Catherine McGee. I don't think I've once mentioned who the author is. So basically where I land on this one overall, when it started, I wasn't excited at all, and then I got into it a little bit more, and then I got less into it. But I think if you know that you are a person who really likes the kind of Gossip Girl, Pretty Little Liars, I don't even know what other shows there are, but that kind of the scandalous lives of the rich and fabulous, then I think this is excellent. I think you will really, really like this. If you are not into that kind of stuff, like I am, I'm not super into that, I still think it was okay. I enjoyed it to an extent. I listened to the audiobook, and for the most part, had a good time with it. But I think just in general, I have problems growing attached to any of the characters in these kind of stories. I don't relate to them. I don't particularly like them that much. And overall, at the end of the book, I was just like, cool, that was a bunch of stuff that happened to these characters, but do I care? But if that's your jam, if you really like the kind of constant backstabbing and betrayals and not knowing who's gonna sleep with who next, then yeah, I'd say give this one a go. It's really a lot of fun. After I finished that one, I think I have it over here, Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertalli. And this is like a big deal because the movie came out recently. and I really have been enjoying listening to the audiobook. The narrator's really awesome in this one and does a fantastic job. I think I have around an hour left in the audiobook, but literally like laugh out loud moments, like just happy giggles to the giggliest as I was going through. So this was a nice, funny, light book to follow up The Thousandth Floor, which is all like, you know, drama and cat in your face. Hi. So anyway, I'm gonna finish this one probably tonight, and get back to Lord of the Flies and finish that one tonight. So that will hopefully put me at 4 books in the first 3 days, which is excellent. But anyway, I'll get back into this one while I cook my dinner, and yeah, I'm so hungry. I'm starving. You gotta get up now so I can go make my dinner. So I just finished Simon versus the Homo sapiens agenda, and this is the kind of teen drama I can get behind. I really enjoyed this one. It's very sweet, and it's so grounded. I loved the family relations. I loved the friendships. I thought all of it was just really well crafted. And there's just a lot of genuine affection between all of the characters, and I love that. I love characters that love each other. I cherish that so much. I hate reading books and having to scratch my head and being like, why are these people friends? Or why is this family just not involved at all? But this has all of it. All of the relationships make sense, and it feels so grounded and real. And I loved Simon. I loved all of the cast. I haven't heard great things about Leah on the Offbeat, and I will say that she's probably like my least favorite character in this. So I'm not sure how soon I'm gonna get to that one. But I really liked this. It was a lot of fun. Another one bites the dust. Another one bites the dust. Another one bites the dust. Oh, 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 oh. Finished Lord of the Flies. Really liked this one. It's a bit self-indulgent at times and drags on a little bit here and there, but overall, I really just enjoyed the ambiguity of it all. I loved like the different personifications of humanity and society that were given to the different schoolboys. I was totally down for like the more fantastical elements, the like religious aspects of it, and just in general, like the idea of the analytical self versus the instinctual self, or as my fellow Angel Season 5 fans will know it as cavemen versus astronauts. That is a topic that I love to see explored again and again. And yeah, I just really enjoyed that. This one was a win for me. I liked it. I liked it a lot. It's Friday, and it feels like a Friday. It's been raining for like 3 days straight here, and it's just so grim. I just got home from work and sat down and got cat-tacked. Is that a word? Cat-tacked? Cat. It's like attacked, but by a cat. I'm trademarking that crap right there. Not a super great reading day. Today at work, it was just not the greatest environment for me to listen to my audiobook. So mostly I was on the phone a lot. I was like conversing with people. I had to go do an interview. So I wasn't able to do a huge amount of just listening to the audiobook, which I started today, which I started Neverwhere by Neil Gaiman. The basic premise so far is it's a guy who has moved to London, but he gets himself situated in a fairly like ho-hum life. He's in a relationship that isn't really the best. He's at a job that he doesn't really seem that invested in. There's just a lot of stuff going on that he's just not really good at life. He's just kind of that average, everyday chap going through the motions. And then he discovers a girl who has been injured and takes her home and cares for her, and then kind of gets swept up in this magical land that exists underneath London. Like there's ways to slip through the cracks and get into a world below, which is all fantastical and everything that Neil Gaiman just does excellently. It's got like the bleak reality mixed with the fantastical setting, mixed with the just intriguing as all get out supporting cast, and then the fairly indifferent kind of ho-hum protagonist, which I feel like that's just the recipe of the Neil Gaiman book, and I love it every time. I always love that Neil Gaiman can find the mundane in the fantastical. Like, everybody's always just like, oh, magical realism and finding the magic in everyday life. I love that Neil Gaiman's really good at making these just amazingly gorgeous, wonderful fantasy settings and then just making them as mundane and boring as all get out. And it's just great. I love that contradictory nature of just treating the bizarre as super boring and casual. All right, so I'm about to go to bed, but I thought I'd check in real quick. I started Every Heart a Doorway, and I'm really enjoying this one. The premise was really fascinating to me. The idea is it's a boarding school for like the kids who have traveled to different planes of existence. Kind of think of like, Wonderland, Neverland, Narnia, those kind of places that are super fantastical, and then they have to come back and exist in the regular world. And this is just a school that kind of helps you deal with that adjustment. It's definitely more adult than I thought it was going to be, and it's also got a lot of like representation that I wasn't necessarily expecting. Like, it's got asexual rep and transgender rep, and just overall I really like the characters so far. I think there's a lot of fun and whimsical characters and a great variety in the cast, and yeah, I'm enjoying it. But anyway, I'm also like falling asleep while sitting on the couch, so I should probably go to bed, because I feel like I have not been getting enough sleep lately. Hey everybody, it's January 5th, and I just finished Every Heart a Doorway, and this was great. It was a lot darker than I thought it was going to be, but I really liked it. I really like dark, dark stories. Um, and it had a nice, like, kind of hopeful, bittersweet ending. And I'm super into it, and I want to continue with this series. I like it a lot. I also started Matilda, and this is another book that I don't believe I've ever actually read, but I've watched the movie so many times that as I'm reading through the book, I really feel like it's a reread. I'm just so familiar with the story without actually having read it. I honestly think the only Roald Dahl I've read. Let me look, here's a list here. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the only one I've ever read is Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. So we're gonna have to improve that stat. I need a better Roald Dahl stat. Hey everybody, it is January 6th, and I just finished Matilda, which is my 6th book, so I'm keeping that momentum. Started out very similar to the movie, and then I quickly realized that there was no way that it was going to have as much as was in the movie, and yeah, that's true. This ends a whole lot faster and a whole lot more simply than the movie does. The movie has a whole lot of extra set pieces and a whole lot of other stuff going on, to kind of have the climax. And this just kind of wraps up pretty quickly. But it's still really enjoyable, and it rings a lot of those really like nostalgic bells for me. And yeah, now I kind of just want to watch the movie again. Because honestly, that was like one of my all-time favorite movies growing up. And it's a little ridiculous to me that I've never read this before. Also, I'm roughly like 2/3 of the way through Neverwhere. There's a cattail. I'm gonna be honest, I probably could have had this one finished today as well. There's definitely things I did around the house that I could have been like listening to the audiobook for this one while I was doing it. But I'm already experiencing a little bit of a burnout, and since it's this early on in the 30 and 30, I decided to like let my brain relax a little bit. Like, I just don't want to go too hard too early and just stop wanting to read. I want this to be an enjoyable experience. So instead, I just had YouTube videos playing in the background while I was working on stuff. And that was nice. That was a nice, like, reset. I still really am enjoying this one and should be easily finishable tomorrow. So we'll be able to keep on track. And yeah, I'm enjoying this experience quite a bit. I wasn't sure so much about the 30 and 30 if I was just like the most unrealistic thing ever. But the more I'm doing it, the more I'm really enjoying the process and getting as much variety as possible just right out the gate in 2019. Like, I keep thinking about what book to pick up next. Like, I'm so excited about what book to pick up next because I want it to be just as diversified of a reading list as possible for these 30 books. And yeah, it's exciting to go through them all. But anyway, I think I'm going to end the vlog here because I actually have to have time to finish editing it and get it uploaded. So that's a thing. And I will see you in the next one.